I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back with the MMA Analysis Podcast. I think that makes it 2 weeks in a row, which is a good thing. I think we got a full house. We got 2 Canadians and a Sosman. I heard it was a solid birthday down there in the Bluegrass State. I guess you're getting ready for the Derby. Is that right? Any horses are going to be, we got any early favorites?
Well, it's like a holiday weekend down here in the Ville, man. I love the next 2 days, man. I was talking to our boy, the OBC, yesterday, and man, I don't think I've worked an Oaks Day, like the Friday, ever in my life. Like, seriously, I was trying to think about it. I seriously don't think I've found a way out every fucking year. But yeah,
except
man.
For this year? Are you working? Are you working it or no?
Oh man, Wes is the boss. Wes decides when Wes works.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But I thought there was a butt coming the way you brought this on.
No, I'm lucky, man. I'm definitely lucky. But yeah, it's gonna be a great 2 days, man. I do actually have a horse that I kind of like before diving in too deep. But I like by my standards, man. I got some 20-1, but with the fade scratched out of the race already, so line's dropping a little bit. But I think he was still around 16-1 on most sports books and stuff.
What's the name of this horse?
By my standards.
It's not a terrible horse name.
I usually I like to play the exotics on race day, man, and then I'll have a big super effect on Derby. It's been a couple years since I hit one. I think it's been about 3 years now. But 3 years ago, I hit it for almost $2,000.
Damn.
On Derby. If you can get the I think this year, if you can get it, it's going to be massive. With the fave out, you're going to have horses around the fave. The fave's going to be 4 or 5-1, and then you're going to have 10-1s and 20-1s to try to get in there. And I like to work a big trifecta and a big superfecta, which is pick the top 3 and the top 4. And if you can get it this year, I think it's going to be big. Sometimes, man, those things are life changing. I've seen some superfectas pay out over $200,000-$300,000 on this race over the past decade. So if you can get it, it's usually a massive payout. So yeah, it's going to be a good one this year, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
By the way, by my standards, still plus 2,000. I just tossed a little bit of money on it on Dime.
You got to take it. I think that horse is going to be half that on track come Saturday. It'll be 8, 9. So you almost got it.
Let's take a look.
Get that CLV while you can, folks.
What does the great state of New Jersey have going on with this? Let's see what we got.
It's no 50-1 on fucking old man Biden.
That was a terrible line to begin with.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, I thought he was the favorite. I got to be honest with you.
Well, he is.
I said that like 6 months ago.
He was always going to be the favorite if he ran. I mean,
yeah, that was just the thing. We just had to wait until he ran, and then the price just plummeted.
What'd you say he was now? Plus 240? That is fucking insane, dude.
I don't know. There could be some like young buck who just people get behind as like a new hope, and he could be beaten. But he'll be he'll be in there for a while. He's not going to be at a minimum.
But Biden's going to be the Democratic nominee. You can pretty much almost book that shit.
Man, that is alarming. There are some old people, man, just running for president.
I don't like it either, dude. I think they should have like how they have an age minimum. I think they should have an age maximum. Like seriously, no, I don't care what party you're in or whatever your fucking views. No 75-year-old motherfucker. these dudes, if you look, some of these motherfuckers can't even make coherent sentences and shit. Like, they're deciding your life. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that.
You should probably have to go through a series of medical tests too, but that's another issue entirely.
I mean, when you got that dude like Dr. Ronnie Jackson that said fucking Trump is 6'4" and 220 pounds, like, you trust these doctors?
220? Where'd they come up with that?
Straight up. That dude literally put out his physical and said Trump was literally like 2 or 3 inches taller than he actually is and at least 50 pounds lighter than that dude is. No bullshit. And then come to find out
I remember that.
Alcoholic. Dude's like an alcoholic and all kinds of shit, was passing out pain pills to fucking White House staff and shit, like all kinds of stuff. Like,
Who was that? Who was that MMA guy who was always the doctor or whatever?
Dr.
that he
Benjamin, wasn't
Dr. Johnny Benjamin.
just slanging the goddamn fentanyl and shit.
Yeah, yep, that's right. He was selling scripts, right?
Yeah, he was like dealing in illegal fentanyl and shit, dude.
Oh,
Can
man.
you imagine that there are people that take this sport seriously?
And everything just contradicts that it should be. And they
Remember
just
when
continue.
people took that guy seriously?
Yeah, that was a time too.
That was a time. Oh man, Brad, it's lacrosse season. So yeah, you must be at the game.
Yeah, I'm hardly paying attention to what's going on. I know there's a bunch of news, but I have no idea what any of it is, other than some idiots said dumb things about Brock Lesnar.
I don't even know what that's about, but I'll listen.
One of the dumbest things you've ever heard in your life.
I think I do remember what you're talking about now. Oh,
yeah, the guy that claimed that he was a miserable MMA fighter and not a star.
Oh my god.
Like,
People are just dumb.
He was the champion, but yeah.
Exactly. And it's like
After 4 fights.
So Brad is aloof in lacrosse land. New Sean, you're still watching the hockey playoffs, I assume, but maybe rooting for Team Canada in basketball? I don't know.
Yeah, I got...
I thought the hockey playoffs stopped after the Leafs lost.
Oh.
Teams around here.
Actually got a much more enjoyable for me after the Leafs lost, because that's what I enjoy, seeing the Leafs lose to the Bruins every year.
Yeah, we all like that.
fuck those city motherfuckers, John.
Yeah, so now I'm just rooting for money and rooting for the Raps. So hopefully they can keep pushing along here.
They can win by like what? What I got? 3 or something? I'm cool with that.
They're
Philly
down
plus 3?
7.
Yeah.
Down 10.
I can't remember what I got.
I'm pretty sure Philly was favored in this game.
No, last time I checked, Toronto was -1.
Man, what were they thinking?
I could have swore I got like 2 or 2.5 or something like that with Philly. I don't know. Anyways, they can win by like 1.
So convenient. So courteous, Wes.
All right, so I guess a good amount of stuff going on, some interesting things. I don't even know where we even start. Should we start with... Oh, God. Should we start with the man who found God?
Former Canadian pound-for-pound number 1.
Number 1.
Former.
Is he going to be retired at 29? I mean, what is this?
Nah.
That's what happens when you start fighting when you're 16 and fight Robbie Lawler when you're in your mid to late 20s. That is not good for your health. It makes you turn to Jesus, which is a sketchy thing at best, especially for a cage fighter.
Man, that was a sad scene.
Yeah,
he's all in. He's all in on the Jesus.
I mean, he couldn't beat John Fitch. John Fitch.
Yeah, I had money on him. That was pretty bad. I thought he won.
John Fitch is 41 fucking years old.
I know, and it was way too close for what it should have been, but I still thought he won. But whatever.
Yeah, he won, but it was close. John Fitch is on the fucking gear again, though, dude. I mean, definitely on the shit again. What's even scary?
We talking about Ecto Cooler?
Yeah, What's even scarier about that shit though is like he's talking all that shit, supposed to have like a 60 or 90-day suspension, and now they're already talking about they're going to shorten it so he can fight in the fucking tournament coming up.
Yeah, because you want to fight Gracie.
How fucked is that a dude literally talking about almost I can't do this no more to getting his fucking medical suspension shortened. Yeah, it like Brad said earlier. Can you believe people actually call this shit a sport? Like, come on, man.
It's just the beautiful culmination of everything. You just got like dudes that can't really do, like a bunch of dudes that can't do much else, and they're aggressive and have very few other options. And then you also mix in, the government corruption and all that kind of shit. It's just beautiful. That is the quote sport that we love here.
Saw a tweet earlier, and they're all talking like, which one of your favorite fighters is a realtor? And so kind of talking about Iaquinta, and somebody was like, well, I know NFL players aren't fucking realtors. I know baseball realtors, you know what I'm saying? Like, good for real. These dudes are bashing each other's skulls in trying to make $5,000. It's just insanity, man. And it took Rory all these years and all these beatings to get paid a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's still $200,000, like 200 fucking grand. Like, man, I don't even know if it's worth that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
It's not good.
It's not a good look. It's going to be tough to back that guy. He just really doesn't pull the trigger. I think the worst thing he ever did was fight Mousasi. Like, I made a shit ton of money on that. That was just an absolute beatdown. And he can say that he wasn't ready for that fight. I don't care how ready he was. Mousasi was going to crush him.
Let's be honest, Rory doesn't care anymore.
I don't know.
That happens a lot.
He probably shouldn't be putting his brain cells on the line if that's the case, but here we are.
I hear that Daniel Cormier
scary to be a fan of this fight or a fan of this sport in like 30 years when you see how all these guys actually end up.
Brad, you really think there's sports existing in 30 years?
That's fair.
In some form.
Babalu come out this week talking like he's got DTE, can't walk and shit.
Who? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Babalu.
I didn't see that, but I believe it.
Yeah. Shane Carwin posted something trying to get a hold of him and shit, trying to, get in touch with him, try to help him out. He's kind of like he's broke. Fucking, memory.
Shane Carwin came away from the sport all right, I think.
It's because he's an engineer and he didn't need
fight
to.
that long.
Yeah,
exactly.
and for some reason, that dude worked some shit, man. That he said he made tons of money on sponsors.
Well, and he's also smart with his. I would assume he's probably smart with his money and.
And a smart.
He headlined $1 million $1 million buy pay-per-view as well, so
that helps.
He fought at the right time, and
I guess the right guy.
He also had dynamite in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
and was gigantic.
Brock Lesnar is such a big star that he set up Shane Carwin for life.
Yeah,
yeah, Brock's not that good. Wasn't even that big of a deal,
man.
I forget the whole he's not that great of an MMA fighter. As bad as that opinion is, I could get that, somebody having that, but to say the dude's not a star and MMA.
Oh, that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
That is the most ridiculous fucking shit I've ever heard.
Dude, he decisioned Mark Hunt 5 years after fighting. Not fighting for 5 years. I was like, oh, okay. No big deal.
I got paid on that. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's one guy in the history of this fucking sport that sells more than Brock Lesnar, but this dude ain't a star.
Yeah, never beat anybody either.
Love it.
Unfortunately, we won't see that guy.
Talk about?
We won't be able to see that guy fight the next little bit anyway.
Yeah. Apparently, the guy he was supposed to fight though claims he might be fighting his last fight in August. We're seeing a Stipe Cormier rematch. Is that something that was ever wanted?
Nope.
Not really, but they don't really have much of a choice. I mean, Stipe had the longest defending streak at heavyweight of all time. And, like...
But why couldn't they have done Stipe and JDS again and then
Stipe
done
said no.
Nagano and Cormier?
Because Stipe held out, and it actually worked out for him, which it doesn't really usually work out for most people, but he held out.
What a joke.
That heavyweight division is just so fucked anyway. It's just waiting for John Jones to clear it out, too.
Yeah, I don't know if John's going to do it.
I mean, the fight now is literally John Hagano. Like, who doesn't want to see that, though? I know a guy.
There's a few guys.
But it's just intriguing. We know what happens if John fights DC. I mean, I'd watch it again.
I'll make money on it again.
I have no problem watching DC get beaten or submitted.
But this time, guys.
Without the picograms.
Yeah. And the cocaine and...
Doesn't sound like Cormier is going to wait around for John, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I bet you he does that Stipe fight.
Do you think he really wants to fight Jones again at this point?
Nope. I don't.
Like, I know he says he does, but come on. Come on.
You know deep in the back of his mind, he knows that it doesn't
absolutely.
matter what the fuck was, what picogram or even fucking could have been taking horse roid. DC knows in the back of his mind that dude's going to beat his ass every single time.
That's why he was crying he wasn't crying because he lost. He's lost before. He cried because John Jones broke him that night.
We've all competed in different sports and different times and knew that there was always a guy that had our number and we couldn't beat him. And it's like we can do this 100 times and
yep,
don't never matter. Know. It doesn't matter. They just kick us. That's why when you're not the top of the food chain, that's how it works. So yeah, exactly.
I'm cool. What Bones is kind of doing now, though, as long as he fights 3-4 times a year and knocks off some of these contenders, I'm fine with it. I think that's
I like seeing John win just to see how everybody else reacts to it. That's my favorite part of John.
It's kind of like seeing Greg Hardy win.
Yeah, it's kind of that's.
I love that too.
That's like to the fifth power though, which is fucking so sweet. Like, that's sweet. God, I love the Hardy hate.
Oh, it's great.
And I hate that dude as much as fucking anybody out there. But God, I love that people hate that he fights so fucking much.
Yeah, and we went all in on that last week, and boy, does that look like a good decision by us now.
Yeah.
Last thing before, so Brad, I'm going to ask you this: have you seen the new Street Fighter trailer?
Oh
no.
God.
Brad, do you know who's going to be starring in the new Street Fighter movie?
Is it Conor McGregor?
No,
that
better.
would be an upgrade.
That's a good guess.
I have no idea.
Who's going to play Ken in Street Fighter?
Come on.
I don't know. Is it Machida?
Think younger and blonder.
Is
the super
Sage,
one.
Yeah.
Sage.
He's moving on to acting.
I'm here for it.
Brad,
I guess Machida would have to play Ryu, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
And for the old school cameo award, Seth Petrozelli is also in this movie.
Oh my God. What the hell is he doing in there?
Is he playing Blanca with his like stupid spiky hair?
Oh God.
I forget who he's playing. It's oh man, it's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be good. I can't believe Northcutt went from UFC to 1 to movie star.
That's got to be straight to DVD shit, right? There's no.
Hell no. We're not sure yet.
That's like a Spike exclusive, right? Or a Paramount Network exclusive. It's got to be.
It's not even good enough for Paramount. It looks like a 2.7 out of 10 from the trailer. It's almost as bad as the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, which is is right. So be on the lookout.
Wait, is this a movie with The Rock in it? I'm looking for a new Street Fighter movie.
No.
Okay.
Do you want to? You want to see the trailer now? I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to find out all about this movie.
Let me see if I can find you a link.
Continue on with the show. I'll find it. Let's not deprive the people of wonderful radio.
I have a link.
Okay.
All right. So we had a card last week, and some interesting results along the way. Some new, we'll call them contenders now on the horizon. But let's start with some of the preliminary fights. So we had Court McGee losing to Diego Lima. Diego Lima now has a winning streak in the UFC. I believe 2 wins in a row is a winning streak.
Look
right?
out.
I mean, can we call him the shitty Lima anymore?
Yes.
I'm going.
He's easily.
Can we call him the really shitty Lima or just a shitty Lima?
He's still 2-5 or 2-3 in his last 5.
As long as his brother is breathing, he'll be the shitty Lima.
Yeah.
So that happens. Angela Hill had no problem with Keith Jardine's girl, Jodie Escobar. How is she in the UFC? I don't know. One of the worst line fights I remember in a while. Somehow Jason Gonzalez was near a pick'em against Jim Miller, and Jim Miller just completely tooled on him. Easy submission, first round. Jim's been a different fighter since the Lyme disease, and I think he now has the most fights in the history of the UFC. 32, I believe, is the number.
Jesus.
32 fights in the UFC. Pretty incredible.
That is impressive.
Now, right? Isn't him and Cowboy like right there with each other?
I think so. But I think Jim Miller is one more now. So, yeah, 32.
Well, until, like,
This
2
weekend.
days.
Yeah, until this weekend. Yeah, so, you know, he's got to have... Yeah, exactly. We'll move up to the preliminary TV card. Gilbert Burns took on something called Mike Davis and does what Gilbert Burns does, submits people. Carlos Esparza decisioned some new Invicta girl that pretty much, I feel like every time like a Brazilian hope comes to a U.S. card, they lose almost every single time. It's got to be one of the best angles of betting in MMA. Just fade that.
Also checks overs.
That happened. Augusto Sakai split decision Andrei Arlovsky, and
I'll take it.
man, this is How many boring Arlovsky decision fights have there been in the UFC? I mean, it seems like it's almost everyone. And then in the television headliner, Ben Saunders had a good first round, and then once he started getting hit, oh boy. Man, he's a case for CTE happening. That's for damn sure. Takashi Sato, TKO elbows and punches, round 2. I'll toss it over to Wes. Any key takeaways from these fights? Just a couple key takeaways.
Yeah, I'm glad the Miller line dropped because that made me play. The Burns line actually was, I think, just as much as a gift. Minus 245 against that dude.
Against that dude, yeah, that's fair.
And Esparza at around a pick'em was pretty nice. Yeah, I'll take that Sakai win. I thought, man, it could have went either way, but god damn it,
he probably lost.
He lost.
But it's better anyway. Just like what does Arlovsky gain by winning a decision there anyway?
Fair.
Nothing.
Fair.
that decision is just so fucking bad. I don't know how good Sato is, but Jesus Christ, man, Ben Saunders has got to quit.
Rogan's friends with him. Can't Rogan talk to him?
Yeah, I mean, they might want to sit down with him and Butterfly Catcher and talk some sense into. Yeah.
Butterfly Catcher.
Oh, good old Brandon Schaub.
Let's go.
Yeah. Did we talk about the Roberts fight?
That's
Not
on the
yet.
main card.
We'll get
Okay.
New Sean, any thoughts on these? Anything in particular?
I mean, Ben Saunders not getting finished in the first round. That's basically a win for him, is it not? I mean,
not for his brain.
Oh, his brain for sure not. But I mean, it's definitely on his record. Should be like half a win or something, just not getting KO'd. Yeah, he's done. It's crazy. Other than that, there wasn't too much here. Gilbert Burns beat a guy that he should have beat, and the rest nobody cares about.
Brad, anything here you want to share?
I didn't even start watching this card until after all of these fights happened.
I don't blame you.
Smart.
You didn't miss much. Except for Saunders going to be going to applesauce land soon.
Soon.
Main card. Roosevelt Roberts beating up Sunshine Thomas Gifford by decision. Yeah. People keep saying Gifford's good.
Ugh.
Wes,
Are they just blinded by the hair?
could be.
And blinded by a guy just throwing up subs that damn near are always not going to get there.
Yeah, taking down and just throwing your legs up. Throw the legs up and just hope things happen.
How many times do they do 69 position? Dude, you ain't winning.
More like an 88.
7 times in a fight, homie. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Roberts looked pretty good. He's still a young guy, doesn't have that many fights, and Gifford did pressure him a lot, so it's not a bad look for Roberts to be able to fight like that, backing up. He did get taken down there once, but I guess he'll continue to grow. We'll see what he becomes.
Brad, is this guy any good? No?
Nope.
I guess we'll take that as a
Neither
no.
of them.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
He's back. Maybe.
Yeah, neither of them are good. So
Fair enough. Uh-huh. So, this fight I thought was the best fight of the night. Corey Sandhagen and John Lineker. This was a really interesting bout. I guess it could have went either way at the final bell, and the judges preferred volume over power, and consensus loss. I guess that's no surprise. But, yeah, Corey Sandhagen gets the biggest win of his career, and certainly looks like a top 15 bantamweight. Wes, what are your thoughts on Sandhagen? And yeah, what are your thoughts?
I was biased as hell, but man, I'm scoring a fight every time for a dude that's like Lineker, and Sandhagen is fucking playing fucking pity pat and shit, dancing around and stuff. Sandhagen's good. I like the kid. I thought he was in way over his head in this fight. He really wasn't. It was a really good performance from him. I think he's really good. But, man, especially the second on, Lineker started landing to the body and shit, man. And it was working, dude. For a dude that throws about 2 or 3 punches, Lineker's a badass dude. There's not many guys in this game with a kind of small amount of fucking arsenal and a skill set like Lineker has, but it works, man. Dudes that small just don't throw with the power that he does. And I guess I get the argument for Sandhagen winning, but in new MMA and how we're supposed to judge MMA and shit, the shit Lineker landed is supposed to mean more. So people get so biased, man, now when they're picking these fights and especially betting them. 1 second they're talking about whoever lands more. The next second they're saying, well, this guy landed the bigger shit. I don't know. I think a lot of judges are like that too. You never know what kind of judge you're going to get in these fights. So me personally, I'd have scored it for Lineker, but like I said, very impressed with Sandhagen, man. That kid's good. He's good now. He's going to be really good.
Nushan.
If our listeners are not fading our consensus bet at this point, I'm just very, very disappointed in them. If we one thing we preach is if you're on if you can fade somebody and profit, you got to do it. So, hopefully they've been fading us because this is a hell of a streak. Hopefully we turn around this week, but if we don't, hopefully somebody makes some money on it. As for this fight, I think it was a coin flip. Obviously, you give Lineker the third. I think you give Sandhagen the first, and the second one is either or. Sandhagen has a hell of a chin on him, or hell of a head, because I don't really think Lineker hit him in the chin much, but definitely if this is one of those fights where if you just look at the statistics, it's going to look completely different than what the actual fight looked like. We've been over this before. What they call a significant strike is kind of ridiculous. The pity patter that Sandhagen was hitting Lineker a lot with was doing barely anything. Sandhagen did hit him with some harder stuff. Obviously, the much heavier strikes were Lineker's, but yeah, I thought it was a good fight. It was a close decision, and unfortunately, we came up on the losing end. Kind of the way it's been going.
Okay, and Brad, did you actually see this fight?
I of course, Johnny fucking Lineker fight. Yeah, this was Lineker third round. Obviously, it blew up that little snot blood bubble of Sandhagen's right at the end too, which was kind of cool. And then the first and second came down to what kind of fighter do you favor? A guy come forward and landing heavy stuff, or a guy landing more light stuff and moving away? And people will say it's more tactical, but both guys are being tactical in a fight like that. Like, Lineker's tactic is he's going to eat whatever shit you throw at him and land heavier shit on you. And in this case, the judges just didn't score it. So, yeah, that's what happened.
Fine. Well, it is what it is. Lineker's still one of the most entertaining fighters in the sport, and Sandhagen moves up and kind of joins. He's probably around the top 10 in the division now. So, sure. I don't think really any bad ultimately comes from the result, other than just our frustration with the judges. I don't think Lineker really falls down too much from this loss. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. Light heavyweight, this fight was something. In typical cute labia fashion, he was finished early and then fell asleep. The Glover.
Yeah, I felt like I kind of called this fight pretty well. I knew the first round, the first couple of minutes were going to be dangerous. That was a pretty wicked spinning forearm, I guess you want to call it, that the cute labia hit Glover with. But Glover's a tough bastard, man. He's got that old man strength, and he's got that old man grit. And his boxing is still really clean at this point in his career. I was pretty impressed with Cute Labia's takedown defense. Didn't get taken down right away. It took a while for Glover to get him down, but once he did, it was kind of all she wrote.
Wes, how many punching bags you think old Glover's got in that garage back in Danbury?
I mean, probably 6, and all of them's like half duct tape, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he tore that shit up.
Yeah, I mean, I bet Cute Labia in this fight, and man, I was feeling good there for a little bit, but we knew how this was going to go. Sean's right. He called it perfect. I think a lot of us kind of figured it would go one or two ways. Yeah, I mean, Glover's a tough old dude, man. His recovery is pretty fucking crazy, man. Like, seriously, that dude's gotten hurt quite a bit lately, and always finds a way to win, dude. Always gets back in it. Yeah, the dude's he's still a badass, man. He's still graduate champ, no doubt about it, man. 47 years old.
All the time.
Yeah, dude's holding that strap, man. Still a big fan. I think I said it last week, but that's definitely a guy at 205, man, that you for a couple more years, I think your younger up and comers, if they have them in this weight class, that's
test.
a guy you can test and see if they're top 10 or not, because it's going to fucking go.
Now, Brad, can you make a case for Glover being the most underrated light heavyweight of all time?
Ooh, of all time, I'm not necessarily prepared to say that, but It is pretty impressive, when you consider that he's 39 years old by the years that he spent in America, and then he's got another 20 years from when he was in Brazil. So he's not bad for a 59-year-old man. It's pretty impressive for him to come out there and do that. But yeah, this dude's definitely. I underrated his ground game going into this fight because, man, he got cute labia down and he just wriggled the right way and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, Glover has wins over cute labia, Roberson, Serkinov, Cannonier, Rashad Evans, good old Pat Cummins, Osp, Bader, James Tahuna, Rampage, Maldonado, and Kingsbury in the UFC. Not terrible. I mean, not really a lot of great wins, but he's beat a lot of dudes. He's been fighting the UFC since May of 2012. I don't think people realize he's been in the UFC for 7 years.
And everyone was kind of pissed that it took him so long to get to the UFC. It was kind of we wanted to see him there earlier.
And his losses are John Jones, Phil Davis, Rumble, Gustafson, and Corey Anderson. Outside of the Anderson loss, which he did get thoroughly lost that fight. I mean, he's basically lost to just top talent, top athlete. Basically got out athlete, I think, pretty much in all those fights.
Yep.
Outside of that, he's yeah.
For most of that time.
What's up?
I said it was training in a garage for most of that time.
Yeah, man.
With 14-year-olds.
Has he ever trained with a legitimate fight team? I feel like he's just been in that garage.
He trained at ATT for a while.
Yeah, for a while, and he's like, fuck this, I'm going to Connecticut in my garage.
I like it better in the garage, man.
He trained with John Hackleman for a while, too.
That's who was in his corner.
Hackleman's been in the Hackleman's probably been in the garage.
Oh, yeah. That's where he's living.
The garage sits on top of the pit. That's how geography works.
And then things got even more weird. This is a really good. Yeah, this just the way this fight card ascended was pretty good. This was fun. There was just there was a dance off and then a fight and then that was kind of how it went. Mike Perry and then Cowboy, man, talk about two psychos.
Yeah, if you saw Mike Perry dancing before that fight, man, you'd say he's definitely more than 2%. Like for sure, that dude's got to be 6 or 7% with those dancing skills.
No wonder they got him out of Chippendales.
I was on Cowboy. Like, man, I was feeling pretty good about it. That was a wild ass scrap. I think we all thought that was going to be a really good fight. It turned into a pretty crazy one.
Yeah, I will say this though. This is one of the first fights you can't judge based on hog size though, because smaller hog man definitely won. Cowboy could very well be Brazilian pound for pound number one.
One dude got married. The other dude is like laying seed all up and down the block. You know what I'm saying?
Literally down one block. one house at a time. One housewife at a time.
Cowboy definitely lays down more seed than even the Sodsman.
Yeah, a lot of growth.
How does Mike Perry though keep getting is Mike Perry really that good though?
He's got a rock for a head, and he's got big power, and his takedown defense isn't terrible.
No, but when he's not good on the ground though.
No.
It's beat up a lot. I mean, he literally gets beat in so many areas, man. The dude's a brawl. I mean, even sitting on Twitter, he does remind me a lot of Phil fucking Baroni, dude. Like, straight up.
He's way better than Phil.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the game's
if he's really that much like Phil, maybe he did have the hog advantage.
There we go.
Go rewatch that fight, Brad. I mean, I'm not saying Perry's not like Phil. Like, could be similar to Brownie, but just look at Cowboy again.
Mike Perry is decent in certain matchups where guys can't take him down and don't like, that's the big one. If you have to stay on the feet and you don't have very high level striking and very good footwork, Mike Perry can kind of get you into a brawl, and then it's kind of up in the air.
Plus, he's got a pretty good gas tank.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, with how hard he throws, he's still there pretty much in the third round. So,
he's kind of like that. He's kind of like a Gronk. Like, he's an idiot, and like he's done some stupid shit. But I don't know. It's kind of like he's not.
He knows he's self-aware. I think
people like him. They really, like, if they don't know, like, the whole backstory and they're, like, some weird shit, like, he's, like, there's some redeeming qualities. Like, just the way he fights is people like it, and, yeah, he's kind of got one of those things. Like, he definitely has, like, a following.
I just think he is who he is. Like, he doesn't try to be anybody but himself, even if his self is kind of a shitty person, but that's just who he is.
He's going to stick around on this thing for a while, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't? I want to see that dude fight every time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
especially in fights like this.
Yeah.
He's only 27.
Can we have Gaethje move up and fight Perry?
Ooh.
Whoa.
That'd be a wild ass fight.
I don't think that would go well for Perry.
Yeah, his legs would be gone.
Fine. Yeah. It'll be fun, though. That could headline any fight card in my world.
I mean, Gaethje against one of those wooden practicing dummies would headline a card.
But I mean, Gaethje's clearly like the number one most entertaining fighter. He's never been in a boring fight. But if you start thinking about it and looking at Perry's fights, there's not many boring ones he's been in either.
He's had a couple.
Yeah, he's had a couple.
Not really.
That one against Joban wasn't great because Joban just kind of stuck to the game plan.
Because Joban was too good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is what you're getting. You're getting like a mid-level welterweight who's you just keep putting him in striker-friendly matchups and just kind of let him go until he can no longer go. That's basically what this is, and fine.
Works for me.
Fine. Moving up, we saw Greg Hardy face a guy that was afraid of him.
Gift of a line.
Yeah.
How often can you literally see a fighter afraid of his opponent?
Not very often.
But this one was the last one I can remember was
Bojan.
What? Which one?
Bojan Mihailovic. Remember that guy?
Bojangles?
Was that the one where he fought Nagano?
Who did he fight? Let me see.
Because there was
Nagano.
Yeah. The Fox part was afraid of him. Yep, that's what I was thinking of specifically. And that was a few years ago already, so it doesn't happen that often. But this guy was like, I've trained with Hardy. I'm afraid of him. Like, I'm just going to back away, and if the slightest contact, I'm just going to turtle up and have the ref stop it. Let's have Hardy fight. I don't know. I would like to see him fight Walt Harris. That's like a kind of a step up and see what he can do with him. Certainly beatable, but provides at least some offensive weapons and give me something. I mean, to see Hardy just kind of like Mike Tyson 1985 his way through like Smoleikov, like it doesn't do it for me.
He's still young, man. Like, how many fights? This guy has 5 fights.
I know.
That's what he should be doing.
Like, because then you're gonna you move him up too fast, and then you're gonna get these motherfuckers that are already like,
give me something.
Like, Hardy sucked. Like, how many people really like Hardy ain't that good anyway? I don't know why he's getting co-main event spots, this and that shit. Like, I wouldn't go too.
Because he's fucking famous.
But exactly. I mean, we know that, Jay. We know this shit. Fucking sport. We know that. But seriously, this is the fucking heavyweight division, man. Are you seriously going to tell me that a fucking ex-NFL Pro Bowler with a fucking punch like that isn't like a top 10 heavyweight right fucking now? Like, these people that think he's not good at fighting just blow my fucking mind. I don't know what y'all are watching. Like, this isn't 145ers. This ain't like it's fucking Max Holloway's division or something. I mean, anybody that's an athlete like that with a punch and like the shit he even showed in his last fight that he got disqualified in was like, shit, this guy's improving like right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? He's getting up off his back and shit. Like, what do people want? I mean, I get it. Y'all hate the dude. More power to you, I guess. But this is a fucking cage fight. I want to see guys like Greg Hardy get in the fucking cage and not guys like, you cock out.
If I'm watching the heavyweight division of MMA, I want to see 6'5", 260, 265 pounds dudes run. Yeah, get after it. That's the whole fucking point. Yep. If I want to see artistic, mastery of technical striking, I'll go watch lightweights and featherweights go at it. If I want to see heavyweights clobber each other, I'm gonna go watch Hardy and Derek Lewis and Ngannou and guys like that. That's it. Sorry.
It's kind of outrage is just crazy to me, man. I don't.
It's like they don't want to see the evolution of the sport. The better the athletes, the better the product, in my opinion.
That's at higher weights. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Where those
you just want to see 40-year-olds like Arlovsky and Verdum and those guys fight forever? I mean, I'm not into that. Like, I mean, that's not appealing.
Like, Greg Hardy's not good, but fucking Sakai is like some fucking phenom.
Right.
Are you fucking
or diaper boy.
Diaper baby.
That's the future of the fucking heavyweight division, and Greg Hardy's get out of here, man.
Brad, what are your thoughts on this one?
I don't get what people gain by just hating Greg Hardy. Like, cool. The guy did some bad shit. Like, he didn't do it to you. He shouldn't have done it. It was wrong that he did it. Like, I don't get what you gain by continually hating him for whatever reason you do. So just, if you want to watch the guy fight, watch him fight. If you don't want to watch him fight, don't watch him fight.
Turn it off. Yeah. He's not in prison. Should the guy not allowed to be able to make a living?
Yeah.
Like, he's not in fucking prison. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. Like Brad said, if you don't like it, turn that shit off. Cut back on when the main event starts.
If he doesn't get people to tune in, he's not going to stay on the roster and keep getting fights and keep getting paid. Like,
the market will decide. It does.
That's right.
So if you are watching, stop complaining about it, because you're just watching to see him lose, and he's not going to lose to a lot of heavyweights because he's an actual athlete, and these guys are mostly tubs of shit.
Yes, they are.
He's going to turn into like Floyd Mayweather. Motherfuckers pay to watch him lose, and he's just over there buying another Lamborghini, buying another diamond ring. Thanks, you fucking idiot. I must smack my baby and mama around, but guess what? You're going to buy another pay-per-view, fucking idiot.
I don't think he'll ever get to that point because I don't think he has any sort of personality to him. But
no.
He's going to be like a tamed down version of that, basically.
Yeah, he will. And we'll see where he goes next. No news yet. Middleweight, though, this was a bit of a surprise. Jacare and Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson put on easily the best performance of his career. I gotta see how many strikes he landed. It was an astronomical number. Jacare had some opportunities to think it was the third round, and then just couldn't keep up the pace with Hermanson, who landed 148 significant strikes in this bout.
Get out of here with the significant strike bullshit, Jay.
Yeah,
he supposedly landed 256 total strikes through 496 overall.
Yeah, I'm more fine with that number because
there's
that's
120 or whatever.
Through those,
it is with
like
those.
He objectively threw a strike. It's not some measurement that you just made up out of nowhere that doesn't give you any sort of inclination as to how severe the strike was.
Either way, he threw nearly 500 total strikes in this fight, and he deservedly won. He was the better fighter in this bout, and he looks pretty good. He was able to take down Jacare multiple times, and really didn't seem to deal with any sort of issues from a submission standpoint, and did well from top control, and landed better on the feet overall. This was a really comprehensive win, and kind of have to wonder what he can kind of do in this division. He's long, has great gas tank. I guess we'll see. Wes, I'm curious what your thoughts are on him.
Yeah, I mean, outside of all those strike numbers, him almost catching Jacare in that choke early was like
wild.
I was over like, are you fucking seriously? Like, are you shitting me? Is he about to catch fucking Jacare in this choke? Like that was wild, man. And yeah, I mean, props to Hermanson, man. Like the guy has gotten so much better. I've underrated him for a while now. I guess ever since, the Santos loss. I mean, I just didn't really think he was beating them convincingly, but I mean, Talis Latis and David Branch and shit, I just wasn't putting much into those wins. But saying all that, man, I think Jacare is probably getting close to done, man. Especially at this level. I don't know what it is. He gets hurt now a lot. Mm-hmm. Like he's really chinny now. Getting caught with a lot of fucking punches. Guys are taking him down and shit, man, which I don't think he saw. Yeah, I mean, he was the guy that was taking you down and was on top of you, and like he's taken down a lot now. It's like I just think that we've seen the last of him being one of the upper echelon in the division. It's pretty crazy to think about, man, because this dude's been one of the best for a really, really long time. But when guys like all props to him, but when guys like fucking Hermanson are doing that to a guy like Jacare, the time is near, man, in my opinion. But I don't know. We'll see, man. I do. This is definitely the biggest win of the guy's career. I just still don't know how sold I am on him. Like I said, his other wins, I don't put a lot of stock in beating those kind of guys. This was a big win, but I do think Jacare is fading bad. I'll probably lose money on him again when they give him another top guy. And we'll see. Props to him, big win, but I'm still not completely sold. I think he's good, but I'm not completely sold.
Okay. New Sean.
I was getting a bit excited in that first when he kind of clipped Jacare, and then I had plus 700 on Hermanson in round one. I was kind of pissed that he went for, like, I know that's his game. His game is kind of ground and pound and subs, but I felt like he probably should have went for punches because I don't think anybody's subbing Jacare. I don't care how fucked up he is.
That was close, though, dude.
It was close, and that is like he is a good sub guy, so can't complain too much. It was an interesting third round because I really thought the tide was turning. I don't know if Hermanson just took the third off. He looked gassed, and I don't know if Jacare just shot his wad in the third, because that fourth round it was kind of back to the same. Hermanson kind of running the show, and then Jacare put a good effort in the fifth. But yeah, I thought that Jacare was just going to turn the tides after the third round, but just didn't happen. I think Jacare is definitely going down. He is getting up in there in age, and like Wes, I don't know what Hermanson is. I think it's going to kind of depend on the matchup, because he's definitely has some slick subs, got some alright striking, so you'll have to have some good defense there, or else you could be in trouble against Hermanson.
Brad, any thoughts on Hermanson? Anything that hasn't been said?
He's better than I thought he was, but I really feel like this fight had more to do with, Jacare getting old, but the bigger thing is, this going from a huge fight for him against Yoel to a fight against Jack Herman, and it didn't look like he could get up for the fight, and then by the time he did, he had already taken too much punishment to really get himself back in it. So he put his work in that third round. Hermanson didn't go away, and he just didn't have enough left to continue on like that. So it sucked. But moving on, Hermanson's a top 10 guy, but I don't think he's really a title threat.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. I mean, I think with Hermanson, it's really going to come down to he could be at a risk against some power punchers if they can catch him, but
and guys that can just takedowns.
Well, yeah, but his volume on the feet is so extensive that unless you can keep up with that pace, and I guess there are some guys in that division that can keep up, or at least a good extent. We'll see.
Jacare's the type of guy that's going to catch him with something on the feet, though, to kind of slow that down. There's way better strikers in that division than.
Faster hands. That's one thing.
Jacare is coming a long way with his striking, but it's still a bit stiff.
If there was a guy he was going to, in the upper guys, to look good against on the feet, that would probably do.
I don't know. There's a middleweight in the co-main event that I think would be a pretty bad matchup for Hermanson if they fought.
You just never know with that middleweight.
Fair.
So the next fight card is in Ottawa. Brad, how far is that from you?
Filled with Canadians.
About 5.5 hours.
Driving?
Yep.
Not walking, or snow sledding.
Walking.
Snow sledding.
Red dogs and shit.
Nice jog.
Mitch Gagnon. Canadian MMA pound for pound number 17.
He is from Sudbury.
Is that near
where
you?
I live.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been to his gym?
I've seen it. I haven't trained there or anything.
He actually has his own gym there?
Yeah, he did for a while, but I'm not sure where he's at now.
He's facing someone named Cole Smith. That can't be a real guy.
He's the Coltrane.
That is a white guy from Canada.
That
West.
This is Canadian white on white type of action.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure it's something I can get behind. Wes, do you know anything about the Coltrane?
Honestly, no. I have no idea. I honestly, unless you follow, unless you're our boy James Lynch.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think James Lynch is the only guy who knows who this dude is.
Yeah, he probably has followed him extensively. Maybe him and our boy Paul Shaughnessy and them. Maybe, yeah, I mean, man, Mitch Gagnon hasn't fought in like over 2 years, man, and he was losing to Renan Barão and Matthew Lopez and shit, man. So I don't know how you can have any trust in that dude coming off over a 2-year layoff, and I just don't know enough about this Cole Smith cat, but he seems like the younger, fresher guy to me, so he'll probably be a pick for me in Topmaster, but I don't want my money anywhere near this fight.
Nushan, any thoughts here? I tend to say no.
Yeah, Cole Smith he's one of these guys with the undefeated
record. Is he terrible?
He's a guy with an undefeated record that's beat a bunch of shitty guys. The guy that he beat last is 4-2. The guy before that 3-3. The guy before that 2-2. So this is a pretty big step up in competition going against Mitch Gagnon. But like Wes said, Gagnon hasn't fought in just over like almost 2.5 years and didn't look great then. So there's a lot of unknowns here. I'll just pick the more known guy in this one.
He's got a big head, though. I'll tell you that.
Fair.
Damn blockhead. Damn Canadian blockhead.
That's not good.
Next fight. This one we know a little bit. Combined record of 13-1. Canadian heavyweight pound for pound number 3, maybe 2, taking on American Juan Adams. Battle, definitely an athlete trained there. Wes, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is another one. I can't really put my finger on it. I'm not. I don't have you see people that like Bueller quite a bit, man, because of this wrestling. I guess the wrestling pedigree. I think Adams might be a little bit better there, though. Honestly, I mean, any dude that's going like life and death with fucking Marcelo Gome, I can't trust you, man. I don't know if I can bet Adams here though, but he's going to be a pick, and I think this fight could get really, really sloppy. So might want to just go make a sandwich or something and come back for the position.
What kind of sandwich are you going to be making?
Foot-long hoagie. You're going to have plenty of time.
Yeah, you're making a Nagano. I get it. It's fine. New Sean.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when heavyweight fight goes to the decision is like minus 105. That's usually not a good sign. Like Wes said, Bueller going the distance against Gome, losing to Wirecheck, going the distance with Luis Henrique. Hasn't really shown much. I know he was hyped up a tiny bit coming into the UFC. I know he wrestled a bit with Cormier and stuff like that, but he just hasn't shown too much. Juan Adams, I know he was kind of pumped up after the Contender Series, but he didn't look amazing against Chris De La Roca. I know Chris De La Roca is a kind of a tougher guy to finish, but I don't know. It's a weird one. A lot of unknowns. I think maybe Juan Adams knocks out Bueller, but no.
Really?
It could happen. Juan Adams does have big power. Bueller, I mean, I guess he hasn't been cracked in the UFC.
Fat guy that gets tired.
Yeah, he's a fat guy. This could get sloppy, and even when things get sloppy, heavyweights still got heavy hands, so never know.
All right. Brad?
Yeah, this is mostly just going to be ugly, and it's going to depend on how Adams' cardio is, because Bueller's going to get in there and hold on to him and keep holding on to him and hold on to him some more. And if he's got enough energy to break away from that and land stuff, he's going to win this fight pretty easily. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be the most horrible 15 minutes that you've seen this week.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got both these guys at D. I actually think that over hits. It's hard to see. I mean, Bueller's not a finisher. Adams is a little too wild, and it's not technical power. It's like a wild kind of loopy type of striking. It's not. He's not a straightforward aggression type of guy who finishes early. Doesn't really have a track record of finishing either. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough fight to call. I think there's a reason why the line's as close as it is, and that over being as low as it is for a heavyweight fight, I think tells you a lot that this is going to go to the scorecards. So I'm going to take I wouldn't even place a side. I actually think I'm very tempted by that over bet. I'll just leave it at that at this point. We got something called Kyle Nelson taking on Matt Sales. This is really one hell of a
What are we even doing here?
Do we even want to talk about this? Is Nelson Canadian too?
You betcha.
Yeah.
There's a Canadian. Like I said, there's a Canadian, at least one Canadian on every fight except the main event, I believe.
See, it's funny. You got like UFC goes to Mexico or Brazil or even China. You got like some entertaining fights. You know, there's going to be it's a Canadian card. It's just going to be a bunch of just like sloppy grappler types. And oh man, like this is like the fight card you use to if you got sleep apnea or something.
On the plus side, Nelson's last 4 fights have ended inside the distance, and
so you're saying he's in
3 of them inside the first round. So I mean, he could get a knockout, and Matt Sales only has 1 decision win. All his 6 other wins are by KO. So hopefully somebody gets knocked out.
I don't know, but this dude seems like a couple of key fights fighting Aguilera. Is that right here?
Say what?
Well, who won?
Christina Aguilera? That's kind of fucked up to be fighting a chick.
Yeah, he's got all those energy. It's a genie in a bottle.
Took a minute.
Wasn't she like?
He was on the voice.
Wasn't she pregnant around that time too? Shit, man.
It's fucked up.
Wes, what do you got for us here? Anything?
Man, Sales, I guess. He's not a Canadian White Walker that they're bringing out of a cave.
That's pretty good. All right, Nushan, you're just saying the under.
I don't care.
Then I don't give a
Brad, I assume you don't have an opinion on Canadian pound for pound number 46.
I assume he loses because he's Canadian, and Canadian
He's number 46.
Terrible right now.
That's a good bet.
I got Nelson D plus, Sales C minus. I like Sales power. I'll take it over Nelson. I guess this could be a fight where there's a finish. Looking by it. Nushan's stats. Oh, next fight we got Vince Morales, who sounds more like a cop in some sort of American urban cop drama.
Yeah, he seems like a background cop in in Sopranos or something,
or NYPD Blue or one of those shows. It can take it on the Zahabi brother. Amen. Oh fuck. Canadian pound for pound number 6. What do you got for us, Wes? Is Canada going to win a fight?
Yeah, Canada should win this fight.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a ton of Zahabi, but he's decent, man. And Vince Morales is getting beat by a fucking dong, and that just is never fucking good, man. You do not get beat up by a dong.
What dong? Yeah,
dong song.
Yeah, dong. That dong. Yeah, I was just gonna ask who's dong.
Yeah, dong.
Yeah, I'm.
That never gets old.
I looked at Zahabi in this fight, actually, if the line still goes down a little bit more. If I can get something around minus 130, I'll probably throw a little bit on him. I think he should actually roll it.
All right, Nushan.
Zahabi looked okay in his last fight. I think he pretty much had that fight locked up as long as he didn't get finished, and then he got knocked the fuck out by a jiu-jitsu guy. So that's not a good look. Morales does have a shit ton of finishes, so I think Zahabi can outpoint him, but that chin is probably a liability.
Probably. All right. Brad?
I don't put too much stock in a loss to Ricardo Ramos. Because that dude's actually pretty good. So he was competitive. He was winning parts of that fight. As Sean said, he might have been winning the fight and on his way to a decision. So I'm not concerned about that at all. I actually think that raises his stock because his first performance in the UFC was absolutely horrible. And this Vince Morales guy, as you said, he sucks. He lost on Contender Series.
Not a good sign.
He beat some guy who was 3-4 on a Bellator undercard.
Jeez.
And then he lost to Yedong. So
like Rowdy Acres and shit. Like,
yeah. So the fact that Zahabi is actually only minus 150 here, I actually think that's kind of a bargain in this fight.
Yeah, Brad likes Canada. I got Morales at D.
I just said that I was picking against a guy because he was Canadian, and fair. Canadian fighting sucks.
It's very subjective.
No,
if they're facing Chinese fighters, they're usually pretty good. Sometimes. Zahabi's a D+, Morales a D. Brad's pretty much on point with this one. Zahabi, way more technical, clearly the better coached. He's got to be a little bit careful, but this is a fight he really should win. 7 out of 10, probably. And I think he will. Moving on from dong to ass,
I think you missed an awesome fight between Nordine Taleb and Kyle Prepolak.
I did not miss anything. I'm not convinced that Kyle Prepolak is going to make it to the
Kyle Prophylactic.
Prophylactic, yeah.
That's exactly why.
Kyle Ipecac.
How the fuck did they open Nordine Taleb minus 105 against this guy? Like, I know Taleb. I have no idea, but I know he shouldn't be minus 105 against.
Oh, that's a bad line, dude. Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
What is the line now?
Minus 355.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Prepolek beat the fist.
He fisted the fist.
That's right.
Oh, Memphis boy? Oh, shit.
Oh, Fister. Oh. Anyway, you ruined my line about dong to ass, and that's disappointing. We got Macy Chiasson taking on Sarah. Not less ass, more ass. Yeah.
All the ass.
All the ass. Wes, is this is a blowout, isn't it? Like, this has got to be one of the biggest. This is a huge mismatch. Am I wrong?
No, this is going to be ugly for as long as it lasts. I think Chiasson it isn't too bad, man. I know. I think we was all on. We tried to get sub last time, and she ended up knocking old girl out.
Oh yeah, right.
This is going to end here, but I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna sprinkle on Chiasson by sub. I still think she's on the mat, and I could see her getting some kind of rear naked choke here. So I believe it was plus 220. So I'm going to take a small stab on that. Chiasson by sub, and yeah, she's going to win this fight.
Now, Nushan, I heard this total is 1.5. Now, for you, that's like a dream. Although, is it a dream here?
I'm gonna lose so much money betting on this fight. So I put 100. I put 2/3 of a unit on it to go to decision. That was a poor choice in hindsight. But I also put a unit on fight starts round 2 at minus 148. It's minus 140, and I'm probably gonna put another unit on it. And if I see a chick get knocked out in the first round, I'm pretty sure that's worth like 2.5 units. So I'm okay with it. Morass is fairly tough. I know Chiasson seems like
she likes getting punched in the face, Nushan.
She does. I know, but she's never been finished. I know Chiasson is a powerful puncher and can also grapple, so it is going to be a clench fest for me. But at least it'll make a chick's fight exciting. So I'm cool. I'm cool putting 2.5 units or something on this fight to hopefully go a little longer. But Chiasson probably wrecks her. Hopefully in round 2, not round 1.
I'm cool.
Brad, is this a cautionary tale?
Man,
I don't even know what you mean by that in this instance.
Is there a lesson to be learned from what Nushan is doing?
No, absolutely bet the over here. It's a fucking women's fight, and you can get over 1.5 at plus 100 with a chick who's never been finished and a chick who's only fought terrible fighters.
Yep.
Well, she's fighting another one, though.
Yeah, even more terrible than this person that she's facing now.
That's very subjective, but yes.
We'll see. I mean, it could bite me, but I'll play the odds. There's been tons of times where chicks come in with undefeated. Now, she's already fought in the UFC, so fair enough. But
yes.
There's been a lot of undefeated chick fighters that come in with a bunch of finishes, and shit can happen, man. One round, and it's a chick that needs to finish. Like, I don't know. It's dicey. I'll take my chances, and if not,
when you're fighting girls who aren't that committed and don't really want to be there once they realize that you are good at this and want to be there, they get out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, these chicks are actually worried about what their face is going to look like after the fight instead of like a real fighter who doesn't give a fuck.
Sounds like a real relationship. Yeah, I got Morass it's a D, Chiasson C+. I think this is a blowout. Morass likes to get hit in the face. Chiasson is big for the weight class, has power, actually fights like a fighter, is on her way up, can sub, can punch. Yeah, just the way Morass likes to. This ain't gonna go well.
I mean, it's minus 800 for a reason.
You might get that 1.5, but I don't think you're gonna get the full fight. So
It's third round too, though, man. I hear you. At a line like that and a chick fight, that's almost you gotta play that shit.
Also, you can get like a $3 discount on Chason if you play the points handicap.
Yeah.
that's a winner.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
if she's
absolutely.
gonna win, she's gonna knock her out likely or sub her, and if not,
Yeah,
it's still
even in
gonna
the fights
be a
that
wide
Morass
decision.
wins, she's still on her back, getting beaten up for the most part. So
Yeah, she likes being on her back. So
yeah.
There it is.
that's redeeming. Mark Andre Barrialt, is he a professional wrestler? I mean, he sounds like.
Come on, he's
how would I
French. Oh.
Yeah, it might be part of the Quebecers taking on good old boy Andrew Sanchez.
The dirty
Wes,
Sanchez.
he's one of your favorites, I know. Wes.
And I'll tell you what, I still stand by it. If the UFC was a 1-round fight, Andrew Sanchez would be a title contender.
Oh, let's not get crazy here.
Fighting was 5 minutes. I'm telling you, fights was 5 fucking minutes.
Maybe 3 minutes.
That dude would be right fucking up there. I'm telling you, he's a fucking badass for a round.
Fun fact of the podcast: the only man to ever beat Andrew Sanchez in the first round, the motherfucking
king.
Oh, that's right. God help us.
Got to be a badass dude to take out the best one-round fighter in the history of this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Somebody hit up King. We need a new theme for the podcast.
Touche.
This dude's got his nickname is Power Bar. That can't be real.
That is not French at all.
I feel like it's got to be like something that gets lost in translation.
No,
It
that
has
could
to be.
He certainly has French coaches and fights for a French team. He's also wearing 2 belts, so that looks all right. But it's for some
belts. Nobody gives a shit about that.
he fights for TKO.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna lose some more money on Sanchez here. I just think he's better than this guy, but man, it's like it always does with this fucking guy. It's gonna get diced into the third round.
Don't put your money on him.
I had to, and I'm going down with the ship. I wouldn't like on him. I got minus 135. It's a small play principle because I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm going down with my picks. So yeah, I'm gonna be betting on Andrew Sanchez, and if this gets to the third round, I'll probably need a wet wipe.
New Sean.
Andrew Sanchez is going to lose twice to Canadians. That is not a good look. How are you going to lose to Ryan James? Get knocked out.
Wow.
By Ryan James.
Gas is out harder than any man on the planet.
I don't care, man. That is Ryan James should not be in that fight at that point. That is the main thing. Yeah, I haven't watched much of Barrio. He's decent for a TKO guy. Andrew Sanchez just has so many issues that this is just a pass. I think he's the more skilled fighter, but that doesn't matter a lot. So I'll pick Andrew Sanchez. You can't lose twice to Canadians. That's just a bad look.
Brad, do you think that Andrew Sanchez is going to break the power bar and eat him?
The power bar went to split decisions with Strahina Gavrilovic and Todd Stout, who I think is like a rapist or something. No, I'm serious. There was a story that came out about him. I'm pretty sure he's a rapist or something.
Classy.
I don't know. It's something not good.
He also has a doctor subject or something called Joe Valey.
It's Jo Valet.
Oh, sorry. There's way too many apostrophes there or accent marks. I don't know what's going on.
There's one.
Looks like there's 3. I can't read that right.
But yeah, he doesn't seem like he's a particularly dominant fighter. So he's gonna lose because he's Canadian, and Canadian MMA is terrible.
Mm-hmm. True.
He is, via Tapology, if you believe them, the number 1 pound for pound Canadian lightweight.
Holy shit!
La-ti-da.
Light heavyweight, sorry, not lightweight.
And he's also the number 1 middleweight.
Yeah.
Because he's
seven
the le double champ.
I know very little about old boy. I'm not even going to pronounce the Frenchy name. I'll let Brad handle that part.
Just
But
call him, he's the le double
power
champ.
bar. Le power bar. Yes, that's what we're going with. I know one thing, and that Andrew Sanchez can go for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And after that, he's a loser. So
After that, he needs a power bar.
Yeah, he'll need multiple power bars.
Clip bars.
Yeah, or maybe a kind bar. Yeah. Either way, 2.5 minutes is not good. I'll take anyone over someone who can't last 2.5 minutes. This guy got KO'd by Ryan James. We discussed this. It's ugly. Move on. Walt Harris and something called Sergey Spivak. This card's really something.
This card's still happening. What the fuck?
No, let's get it. Let's get in here. I'm gonna name this dude's last 3 opponent. Tony fucking Lopez. Some dude named Ivo Cuck. And
Wait.
Fulton.
Oh man, there's some cucking going on here.
I'm Travis Fulton.
Russian cucking, I guess, because this dude's name's Ivo Cuck.
Yeah. And then, you know who watched him lose before that? Travis Fulton. So there you go.
Oh,
Travis Fulton's record is
oh fuck. Ivo Cuck is no cuck. He looks like he's an alpha.
Oh, man. do you just look at what Travis Fulton's record is in MMA.
Doesn't he have like 200 wins or something?
Yeah, he's 250 and 50, something
He
like
has
that.
10 draws.
This Ivo Cuck guy.
Does Ivo Cuck's tattoo say "Born to Fuck"?
I hope so.
This can't be
This
a
guy
real.
definitely hangs out with Mike Perry. These motherfuckers definitely hang out. There's no fucking doubt about it. Holy shit.
Born
How
to
is this
fight.
dude not?
Getting forever.
He has to have been on KSW cards at some point,
The
right?
cuck?
Like, yeah. Holy shit, he's never been on a KSW
Doesn't
card.
look like it.
Dude, this guy, Travis Fulton, was on the Iowa regional scene where he fought 4 times in a month.
Got to get that paycheck, baby. He
Wow.
fights as much
There's
as people
some-
go to work.
Yeah, there's some guy that Travis Fulton's fought like 13 times.
And him and what's his name? That one dude's fought like 5 or 6 times. They just fought like last year again.
Oh,
Fuck, I can't.
there's no cucking going on there.
Yeah, Walt Harris has got to win this fight, right? Like, seriously.
I would fucking hope so, but
Walt Harris got to win this fight. I think he should get rid of this dude. Picks Walt Harris. I don't.
I mean, the only other Ukrainian heavyweight I'm aware of is Nikita Krylov, and
he's Moldovan. Spivak is
Say it.
Moldovan.
Did I speak out of school?
He ain't Ukrainian. He's from where Cute Labia is from. He's from the Moldova.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is another guy. Undefeated record comes in. I mean, he hasn't beat unknown guys, but they are pretty canny at this point. He's been out of the first round once in his 9-fight career. Walt Harris just needs to survive, and he beats this guy. But I'm not touching that fight.
All right, Brad.
Dude, I'm just scrolling through Travis Fulton's MMA record.
I know, right?
And
It's fascinating.
it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
In a good
love
way or a bad way?
both. Everything.
Yeah, both.
Like, just go through his record, and it's a time capsule of MMA from the beginning.
It really is, right? Oh, man. It's funny.
His first fight was in 1996. He lost to Dave Strasser, who fought in the UFC like almost a decade later against Caro and got fucking flippy Kimura'd. It was ridiculous. Thank you, Travis.
I feel like Iowa MMA is like a totally different world than every other piece of MMA. Like they just you can start fighting at 12 there and you just keep going.
It was. I mean, 15 years ago. Jesus.
Oh right.
The barn fights that were going on in Iowa 15, 20 years ago. Holy fuck.
Only in Iowa, which is I'm not sure exactly. I got nothing to say here. I just know not to trust Ukrainian MMA fighters. I don't care if they're undefeated. Walt Harris should win. We got this one should be a grinding affair. We got a different Brad, Katona, taking on
very shittier.
That's true. We got against Merab Devashvili. A lot of V's and a lot of I's.
A lot of L's. Hopefully not an L in the fight.
See what you did there.
Look, I mean, I think we can all say that Cantona is the Canadian white height now.
Who is?
He's Ireland's best type. What are you talking about? He doesn't.
Oh, he's SPG.
You don't claim that dude once he goes in SPG.
Is he Kavanaugh's best fighter at this point?
Yeah, and except Kavanaugh's not even coming over to coach him.
Why? Charlie Ward fighting in a barn in Ireland that day?
I think Kavanaugh's doing some more book deals. He's got to go hawk some more books about how he got rich by attaching himself to the biggest fighter in the world.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard of that one. Sounds promising.
Mm-hmm.
Double times bestseller.
One of the greatest cons ever perpetrated in MMA history is fucking that dude becoming
He's MMA's Madoff, you know.
Becoming a worldwide star. Yeah, it's just absolutely fucking incredible. I like Dashvili pretty big in this fight, honestly, man. I'm not sold on Cantona whatsoever. I bet against him in his last fight, and he did look good against a guy that's on a massive decline in Matthew Lopez. So yeah, I think this fight isn't like really close. Honestly, the wrestling here is just going to be a massive difference, man, in my opinion. And I got 135 a few days ago, and I like that quite a bit in this fight. I still think it's a little low at minus 185.
Nushan.
This is another terrible opener. Devashvili opened plus 170 in this fight. Crazy.
Is that a real thing?
No, that one was a real opener. People just hammered the shit out of it, and it dropped like it was supposed to.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with Wes here. I'm not sold on Katona. He looked alright last time, but Devashvili's wrestling is pretty damn good. His losses are like his loss to Frankie Saenz is not the greatest of looks. I think he trains at a good team who's got some guys that are kind of streaking right now. So I'll take that over a guy who his head coach isn't even going to make the trip to this fight. I got him at minus 138 for a unit.
Brad, did you know that Devashvili has 22 takedowns in his 3 UFC fights?
That's a lot of chili.
That's Georgian wrestling right there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You think he hits up the gyms in Atlanta and throws the boys a couple pointers?
Brad, he doesn't train in Atlanta. He trains in Cobb County. Okay.
No way. Well, you can't be pulling down no clubs and shit. This ain't no big boss, man.
That's right. And so, Brad, anything here?
Oh, you want me to talk about this fight? The Canadian guy sucks. So I'll pick the non-Georgian.
Yeah, I just want to see one more. I mean, 4-inch reach advantage for Devashvili. I think he's pretty big for this weight class, and just looking at the offensive wrestling, it's a big advantage for Dvalishvili. I don't care. Katona's got a pretty decent gas tank and can push a pretty good pace, but Dvalishvili is just a different level in that regard. He's honestly one of the most, just in terms of just keep grinding, keep going for takedowns. He's been one of the best I've seen in that regard, and just a constant motor. I think it certainly helps that he trains with Sarah Longo. You're going to expect significant improvements over probably his last fight from not just a wrestling perspective. I think this sets up well for him even on Canadian territory to get the W. I think it's going to be tough for Katona to. Katona's kind of won his fights because of his grinding style, and he's not going to be able to have the advantage here. If he's going to win, he's going to have to probably KO Dvalishvili. I think that's his only way to win this fight. In terms of the grades, I had Dvalishvili a C, a Katona a C-. 3 fights to go. This is my second favorite fight on the card, if not my favorite. Shane Burgos and Cub Swanson. I think this will be a doozy. Wes.
Yeah, that should be a pretty fun fight. Yeah, man, I feel we're gonna see another scenario, man, of an old vet that's just starting to get on the decline here, and you have a younger up and coming guy, man. And just I don't know how you can trust Cub at this point. Coming off 3 losses, been some pretty bad losses. I mean, dude's last win was fucking Floboff. Burgos has looked really good, man. I know that fight against Cutter, man. He got taken out in the 3rd, but I mean, he was handedly winning that fight up until that point. And besides that, I mean, that dude is undefeated. So, yeah, I'll rate Burgos pretty high here, man. Just a 35-year-old Cub on the decline against this guy. Yeah, I mean, I took some of that. I believe it was -165, somewhere right in that range. But I played him straight, man. I like Burgos quite a bit in this fight. It's one of my favorite bets on the entire card.
Mm-hmm. New Sean.
Yeah, I got to agree with Wes. I think this is a good spot for Burgos. He is going to have to be careful at the start. Well, probably pretty much throughout this fight. Got clipped and finished in that Calvin Cutter fight. And then he did get clipped by Hollabaugh before he was able to snatch up that armbar. So that's a bit scary. Cub does have some power, but I just think he's on a hard downswing. He did not look great against Carnero. I thought he was going to do a lot better in that fight. He looked okay against Frankie. I'm not sure what happened in that fight, but Cub's now he's a dad now, so I'm sure that's not helping his training. And
Dad quit.
He's got that dad quit possibly. But yeah, he's getting up in age, and we know how these kind of lighter guys they seem to really degrade quickly. He is 35, so yeah, I took Burgos 2 units at -163. I think it's a good bet. You just got to be a tiny bit worried about the KO, but other than that, I think he's just going to be so much quicker and fresher in this fight.
Brad?
Yeah, it's not like the loss to Cutter's a bad loss either. It turns out that guy's pretty good, so not a bad loss at all. I was looking at the lines on this one, and a little piece of me saw Cub by TKO at +625.
Ooh, that's...
And I thought that was pretty high. And then I looked into it a little bit more, and he hasn't knocked anybody out since 2013. So
who was that over?
Dennis Seaver.
Oh, God.
Yeah, way back.
So exactly. So that kind of backed me off that a little bit. But he has faced some tough guys at the same time. Artem, you can put a whole bunch of shit on that guy, and he's not going to go away. We saw the Korean fucking
Superboy
infants,
Korean
infants chin was pretty damn good. So he's fought some tough guys and landed some good stuff on him. That maybe that stuff will put Burgos out. I don't know, but I think I'm probably going to back off that little prop play and just take Burgos as the side here.
I got both these guys a C+. This is, to me, is a really tough fight to call because while Burgos is longer, younger, throws more volume, he also gets hit a lot more. And I feel like we've seen Burgos clipped in almost every one of his fights. He does recover well, but he hasn't faced as he really has. I mean, I guess Cutter was like a fairly decent striker, but Cub is a different animal. Cub can be durable, but again, just like the kid part now for him, and where's his focus at? How much longer does he really want to do this? Definitely some question marks there, which I guess make me lean slightly to Burgos, but I'd be very concerned about Burgos getting finished. I don't think he's durable enough for a guy his age to have a really long career doing this, and I mean, I do think Brad's prop does have some value at that price. I certainly think it's a higher percent chance than, what was it, 625? So definitely higher than
5 years.
Definitely higher than 15% or so. So here we go. Either way, I get that, but I would say of those guys that Cubs fought, this is the least durable probably of all those guys. So we shall see. 2 fights left: Derek Brunson and Elias Theodorou. From a striking showcase to what could very well be something else entirely. Wes.
Yeah, maybe to a daring showcase here for a little bit. Look, I got worlds colliding here because I've been fucking memeing Derek Brunson for like 2 years now.
It might be your favorite meme.
Yeah, I've also been fading fucking Elias for years now, and Elias, he figures out ways to make these decisions, I guess. He's not good, man. Like, seriously, dude, I get it. He's a tough guy. He's a cage fighter. I don't want to get on him like I do Derek Lewis or anything. But I mean, what does this guy bring though? Really,
the flipper kick. What are you talking about? You like that front jab? The front kick jab.
That CM Punk fucking front kick and shit. Like, dude, this guy's not that good. As bad as Brunson has been in some of these fights, and I mean, the leading in with his chin and stuff is really bad. Some of the technique, but man, he is better everywhere in this fight. You talk about just get out of the athletic side of it, which is he's just far superior. I mean, everywhere, I think he's better in this fight. And if Brunson loses to Elias here, man, he might need to go fight in TKO or something.
Quit.
Because it would be a bad loss in my opinion. I can't see it, man. I'm going to go down swinging. If Brunson loses this dude, I'll be completely wrong. I don't think it's close, man. This line should be like, me personally thought it was more minus 220 Brunson. I getting half that. I'm hammering this fight, man. If I lose, I lose. I'll fade Elias against almost anybody. Especially Brunson. I just think Brunson's better everywhere, man. So this probably ends up going 3 rounds. I just think Brunson can do a little bit more in every round to get a pretty wide decision, in my opinion. So, I'm taking Brunson pretty big at minus 110.
New Sean.
Like Wes, I've lost a lot of money fading Theodorou. This style matchup is a fucking banger for Brunson, though. Brunson has power. His chin issues are rough, and he is coming off 2 KOs, but Elias pretty much has no power. I know Elias likes to grind. I think Brunson is the stronger fighter. He won't be able to get held up on the cage too much. And yeah, I just like Brunson here. I know he's coming off 2 KOs. Not great to see, but those are against elite guys, and I know Theodoro has this streak going, but if you look at the guys he's beat, it's not anything special. Eric Anders is not who we think he was, and he went to a split. He beat Trevor Smith, Dan Kelly, Mutanch, Sam Alvey.
He didn't even finish Dan Kelly.
I know, like he's unfortunately he's not that good, and I really think Derek Brunson might even put Theodoro out. I don't think it's ever happened. Theodoro's only lost twice by decision. I think Brunson could do it. I think the more likely scenario is Brunson winning a 29-28 or a 30-27 decision. I got 2 units on Brunson at -111. I also put a half unit on Brunson by decision at +305. The skill gap here is just huge, and the spots that the weaknesses Brunson has, I don't think Theodoro can capitalize because he just doesn't have the power to do it.
Brad?
Yeah, man, that Brunson decision line is absolutely crazy to me. I know that for a while there he would come out and just go wild and try and get the finish right away, but then he got knocked out a couple times and then fought some guys that he could get away with that against, and then got knocked out again. So I think he's probably going to tone it down a little bit for this one, but 5 out of 7 of Brunson's losses are first-round KOs. If you don't knock this guy out, and as I just said, Elias couldn't even finish Dan Kelly, then you're probably going to lose to him. So I definitely think that Brunson avoids getting knocked out here, and he's a significantly better fighter everywhere. Physically, technically, in every realm, he's going to do more in this fight and win this fight. So I think he does it by decision because, Elias is tough. He'll take some punishment. But Brunson's going to win this fight, so I bet him straight. I bet that decision prop that Sean just mentioned, and I'm here for it. Canadians losing because they suck.
Hell yeah.
Brunson B-, Theodoro C. Theodoro is a guy with a pretty decent gas tank who keeps it fairly standing and grinds and doesn't get hurt a lot in fights. Brunson,
he's the standing John Fitch.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yep.
The striking statistics are fairly similar in terms of strikes landed versus strikes absorbed. Brunson's certainly bigger power, but the advantage is the wrestling. I mean, Brunson could take Theodoro down in this fight. Theodoro's takedown defense is only like 40%, or no, 60%, sorry, still really low. And Brunson averages close to 3 takedowns a fight per 15 minutes. Never been taken down in his career. So the only way this fight goes to the ground is if Brunson brings it there. I think there's an opportunity for him to do so. Otherwise, the striking's, again, fairly competitive with a slight advantage to Brunson based on length and power. I'll take Brunson, but yeah, you have to. That's really it. Statistically, size, those are the differences, and Brunson should win. And at even money, I think you got to take that chance. And with that is our consensus bet of the week. So Derek Brunson to win straight up. New Sean, what's that price?
It is priced at -110. You can get it, -110.
Now, I wish the books would give out Elias Theodoro by split decision so we could hedge our bets, but
Go take a mortgage out on your house and put it on Elias.
Or put it all on the line in Gamble Master, one or the other. And we got our main event coming up. This is a good one. Nothing to do with Canada, thankfully. Iaquinta. We got Long Island's #1 real estate agent, taking on America's #1 cowboy, Donald Cerrone, in a battle of badasses. Wes, start us off.
I mean, there is a little Canadian here because before Khabib, Al's last loss was to the great Canadian Mitch Clark. So,
oh yeah, I remember losing money on that fight.
Yeah, this is a really interesting fight, man. I lean Al in this fight, of course, man. Just the younger guy at this point. I think that means a lot in these spots, man. But man, Cowboy's just a little different still at 155, man. When he's cutting his weight, he's taking shit seriously. The dude still, he's dangerous, man. So I still think it's a close. I don't know if it's going to be close, but I still give Cowboy that chance, man. You just never know with that dude. He's so damn good. I just think at this point, Al's just he's younger, faster, man. I think he's got a little bit more power, wrestling a little bit better. So Al can win this fight in a couple of different spots, man. And I just think at this price, it's almost like Brunson. I think you got to take a little chance here. And I mean, if Cowboy pulls it out like he does a lot, he just does. But Al's just a younger, better fighter at this point, I think. Probably gets Cowboy out of there a little later. Cowboy's been, he's been caught a couple times, not too recently, but usually when he loses it, he's taking a beating or getting taken out of there. I think Al probably ends up doing that. So I bet Al small. I believe it's -110, -115. I thought that was a little bit short here. But again, I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if Cowboy pulled off some crazy shit like he always seems to do. So it's a good fight. Can't wait to see the main event.
Newsham, who do you think wins the main event?
I think it's a very close fight, but I got to give the edge to Iaquinta. I think this is Cowboy's first real tough test back at 115. I know some of us kind of thought that Hernandez would give him troubles, but he was still fairly unproven, and when he couldn't get to the ground, it was going to be bad times for him. Al is good everywhere. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, his striking has come a decent way as well. He's just a fresher guy. I know Cowboy kind of has this resurgence going on. I don't know if it's the real thing or not. Well, I think we're gonna know pretty quickly. If Al puts it on him a bit, I don't know if he's still gonna be there. Al Iaquinta looked damn impressive against Kevin Lee. That was a pretty big upset in my eyes. With Lee's wrestling and stuff like that, it was very, very impressive to see him be able to just stuff him and light him up on the feet. Cowboy's he's still a great striker, so Iaquinta can get caught. It's 5 rounds, so things can happen. I think it is a close fight, but I give the edge to Iaquinta. I bet him for 1 unit at -119.
Brad, your thoughts on the Cowboy and the raging one?
He's certainly no cowboy, that's for sure. I really don't know what to think of this fight because Cerrone has the more dangerous skills wherever the fight goes, but he's getting so old at this point, and Al's one of those guys that's just super consistent. Always know that you're going to go out there and you're going to get a guy who's coming forward, and traditionally that's been what's caused Cowboy the most problems in his career when guys put him on the back foot. So he's improved at dealing with it over the years. I'm just not sure he's improved enough to deal with a guy like Al coming at him for 25 minutes or as long as it will take. if Al comes out with some stupid game plan and lets Cerrone dictate the pace of the fight, then Cerrone's going to pick him apart because he's got the more diverse striking. But I just don't see that happening. I think Al knows what he has to do in this fight. He's going to come out, be aggressive, and I think he's probably going to take a relatively wide decision. I don't really think he gets Cowboy out of there, but what do I know?
Okay. I got Raging Al a B plus and Cerrone a B. This is tough. I think from a striking standpoint, it's fairly similar. I think I trust Al's chin a bit more than Donald's. And the one thing with Cerrone is you never know just how motivated he is heading into a fight. Sometimes he shows up and he's like a totally different fighter, and then other times, like the Alex Hernandez fight, he was like it's just a totally different experience and completely offensive and just outclassed him. Al's a bit of a different guy than Hernandez. He's a way more technical striker, good boxer, coming off a really, really good win over Kevin Lee, and certainly with the win over Cerrone, he puts himself into real contention in this weight class on the back of two really solid wins. I'm going to lean towards Al, but I'm a little nervous if this fight goes to the ground. I think Cerrone has a real advantage in the submission game. Al's been vulnerable in the past. Two subs, such as the Clark fight, the first Kevin Lee fight, Chiesa early in his career as well. So we'll see. I think there's a reason this fight is lined fairly close because there are a good amount of unknowns. But I will lean towards Al. I think maybe he's turned a bit of a corner and he's ready for prime time. But for my money, I need to see him do it one more time before I can feel confident moving forward. And with that,
better in the UFC than Al telling Dana to go fuck himself and still.
Well, that is certainly commonplace. He's good at that.
Love that dude.
Very, very Long Island of him.
Yep.
With that gets us to the end of this week's podcast. I believe there is I think we're going to Brazil the next week.
New UFC 237.
Oh.
Oh, that's yeah.
Aldo Volkanovski is going to be a banger.
Yep.
I don't want that fight to happen, man. I feel like that fight's going to make me real sad.
You never know.
Oh, no, Brad.
We're feeling the same.
I mean, if Aldo wins that fight, it cements his place as one of the GOATs.
Do we have one of the easiest bets in the history of MMA on that fight card?
Clay Guida, yes, that is correct. He is fighting BJ Penn.
What is the price on that? Is there a line?
I think it opened like minus 400. I don't know what it is now.
Minus 550 right now.
Oh, still a gift.
Take it inside the distance. It's going to be cheap.
Minus 5 at Bet365 Sportsbook.
And Anderson to fucking Kanye and shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah, this is going to be... It's an interesting pay-per-view, that's for sure. You got a Lil Nog sighting. It's
Lil Nog's
They're
fighting.
Just rolling out these old Brazilians.
Lil Nog's scheduled to fight.
True. We got the countdown to see when he pulls out.
There is some Brazilian on Brazilian violence on the undercard.
Rice versus Alves.
What is that?
Grandpa Trinaldo, yeah.
And how can we forget that the Becci one is fighting? Oh, there's a lot going on here.
And
wow, it's something to talk about. That's for sure.
Yes.
Mexican can beat. Becci gonna win 29-28 against this Mexican down in Brazil. You can bet your ass.
Yeah, she is. She's gonna threaten to kill somebody again. She's gonna win a fight.
Beautiful.
It's actually a good card, man. Bellator's got a pretty decent main card next week too.
Don't be talking about Bellator.
There's some good fights on there though, man. Chandler against Pitbull and Lima against Page. Yeah, there's a.
I've certainly no problem.
That Lima price got cheaper. Man, people are crazy.
What is the price?
Minus 245. You can get it as low as minus 190.
Yeah,
that's not a good line.
Hey, yeah, I think they should look like PFL starts back up Thursday. Yeah, it's gonna be a good week. Good week of fights. I love that PFL, man. It's good shit. Especially they got a ESPN deal now. Stream that shit wherever. Yeah, I'm down with the PFL.
Wait, 2 weeks, Pat Cummins is fighting Ed Herman? Pat Cummins is a 2-1 favorite over somebody.
Ed Herman's still alive? What the fuck?
Pat Cummins is still alive?
I know, man. Jesus.
And Marlon Rice is a favorite over Cejudo.
Those dudes are
much
gonna be
bigger favorite. I don't get the fuck Magline.
Pat and Zach, the Cummins brothers, are on the same card.
Oh, jeez.
They're literally going to be walking around with like those helmets you put on babies to reshape their skulls and shit. Dudes are going to have.
Oh, love it.
Some interesting stuff coming up, that's for sure. We'll be back next week from one of the world's great cities of Rio de Janeiro for some actual Brazilian on Brazilian violence. You don't get to see that often in Brazil. They don't like to see that. So I'm looking forward to it. Until then, enjoy the fights and fade Brunson, I guess.